Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the RuneQuest rules by Chaosium Incorporated. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Strong language, mature scenes, and rune magics are on the way. As this is our Glorantha, we will remind listeners that it may vary from the one you already know and love. And now, on to the show. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your storyteller this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with our 6 seasons in Sartar campaign, our RuneQuest campaign on the Old Ways Podcast. Thank you for listening and joining us, and especially a wonderful thank you to our Patreon supporters who help make the show possible. If you'd like to check out what we have to offer and support shows like RuneQuest, you can at the Old Ways Podcast Patreon channel, which is at patreon.com/the Old Ways Podcast. And now we will get to introductions directly, which is beginning to my right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather, pronoun she, her, and I am playing Lysana of Cliffshield, the apprentice healer and midwife of the Haraborn and follower of the Blessed Earth Mother, Ernalda. And we are about to, shall we say, fuck shit up? I do believe.
Yep. I think in this kind of situation, strong languages like that is exactly what we're looking for. 2 Lysanas, right?
This is Morgan, and I play Alara of Hillbase Stead. Our pronouns are she, her, and Alara worships the goddess of the earthquake, Marangor. And it's really fucking cold out here.
Yeah, it is. The flowery language continues at the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Vargast, initiate of the storm god Orlanth, and initiate of the Shah of the Rainbow Worm. And we're just, we're going to mix it up now. It's them or us.
It is them or you. Yeah, absolutely. So last, most certainly not least.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Finn of the River. And we are, well, just like last time, just every time we encounter animals, we're just going to tame them and take them home back to the Hillstead, put a collar on them. It'll be fine.
Yeah, about those animals. So we'll part the clouds and the snow pack to look in on our Haraborn in the Vale, and we'll take you back to that very concerning scene of 2 massive mountain cats, which have predatory canines, and they are snapping and growling at this wounded white doe. The characters have been sent to find this terrified and possibly endangered animal and save it. And just as they've come over the crest of a hill, they've seen this pair of vicious, snapping predators about to pounce. And that is when our characters intervene. Now, when we last left you here at this scene, there had been some declarative statements. And so what we'll do to refresh everybody and make sure everybody understands what's going to happen, we'll just have them really quickly go through in introduction order and tell us what they were going to do again. So, Lysana, you were planning on affecting the scene in what way?
Yes. Lysana was to gather herself and cast the spirit magic of Ignite on the fur of one of the beasts.
Certainly. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll have you pick left or right. Just for our listening audience, what they'll need to know is that there's about, 50 to 80 yards maybe between the 2 of them. These 2 groups, there is in effect, Mr. and Mrs. mated pair of predators here, and I'll just have my PCs choose left or right, so that way they can tell me who they're targeting. It'll make it a little easier for us. All right, to Alara, what's your statement of intent? What are you planning on doing?
I pull a arrow from my quiver, and I have my bow, pull it up to the ready, get the arrow aimed at the Salmadon on the left.
Okay, so you're going for the one on the left. Very good. And then Vargast, your intent.
I am going to cast Thunderbolt on the one on the right.
Beautiful. And then Finn, what is your plan?
Finn already has a rock in the sling. He's swinging it about his head, and he's aiming at the one on the left.
Okay. So RuneQuest combat is done through strike ranks. And so we'll go through our strength rank. We will begin at number 1. And I'll even use this special D12 that helps me track. So hopefully we won't get off course. So on strike rank 1, we know that Vargas is going to be casting a rune magic spell. Rune magic spells go on 1 unless they are pumped up by other rune points. So go ahead and take us through the system, Jake, for Vargas casting this spell.
Okay, so it would go on 1, but Thunderbolt is a 3 rune point spell.
Okay.
So adding the 1 to the 3, that would make it a 4 when it goes off.
Okay. So we'll track that. It'll go off on 4. You begin casting now. So this is an enormous expulsion of investment. It's energy that you have invested and gotten return from Orlanth. You're now calling to Orlanth in some way. How would you do that? What would you say?
I think I would call on Orlanth in storm speech. Come, strike down our enemies. Impale them with your majesty.
That's fantastic. I love that line. Impale them with your majesty. All right. So we also know that there is another spell being cast by Lysana. This Ignite spell is going to be cast on 1 because it is a spirit magic spell. And it costs a single magic point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So take us through the system of that.
So according to the spell, this will ignite anything normally flammable. While the skin cannot be ignited, hair or fur can be, but only if the caster, i.e. me, overcomes the target's POW.
Fantastic. So you and I are going to make an opposed roll. So go ahead and roll your POW, and I will roll for the furry one. Okay. What did you roll?
I have a POW of 15, and that is a 30.
Okay, so your POW of 15, when you roll it, is multiplied by 5. So you're going to be rolling under the percentage of 75, I think? Or 65 at least?
15 times 5, let's do a little math, is 75. So that is a 30 under 75.
Okay, yeah. So you beat them in that POW versus POW challenge. And what is the effect therein?
In that case, that means it's that fur ignites. It
Okay.
lights up.
Does it do damage? You ignite, left or right? Which one are you choosing?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We will go with right.
Okay.
And according to this would be basically lighting up as if I had stuck a torch on the fur or some type of fire. So whatever type of damage it would do, the fur would start to burn.
Would you roll a location die for me if you have one? If you don't, I do.
I do not.
So you call out, and through your voice, the Earth Mother provides you with a spark of energy, which ignites this paw on one of these nasty predatory creatures. And you see the creature jump, and the action it was going to take, which would be to seize upon the doe, it is going to rethink that now because there is a new player in town, so to speak. So we're still on strike break 1, and the reason we are on strike break 1 is because Finn is here, and he has a sling, and he is going to make an attack roll.
I would love to do that very thing. That is a 2 under 25.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that is a special. Okay.
Thanks.
I'm going to say that for this round specifically, or at least until they get their action on strike rank 5, they're not going to have a chance to dodge at this point. So why don't you roll me your location die?
That is a left leg.
Okay.
Charlie horse the shit out of the one on the left. Back rear haunch. Just pow. Sharp piece of flint.
Okay, and you're going to roll special damage. That's what it says. So this is technically a crushing attack. So because it's a blunt weapon. Crushing does normal damage and the attacker's damage bonus plus the maximum rolled damage bonus. So what is the damage of your sling?
It is 1d8.
Okay. 1d8. It doesn't appear to have any potential strength bonuses, so I think what you're going to do is just going to roll a d8.
I got a 5.
Okay. And that is the left one, yes?
Yes.
All right, so let's see here. And that was the left hind leg. Makes sense.
Indeed.
Probably trying to sort of aim for the haunches there to give it a good, quick reminder.
Yep, trying to draw attention as well as damage.
You definitely draw its attention. So this rock whips past everyone's head. Like you hear the quick and almost violent spin of the sling, and the rock that fires past you sails and hits the back end of Mr. Predator here on the left, and that beast yelps.
In character.
Oh, certainly. Okay, so strength rank 2. Nothing happens. There is no strike rank 2 action. Strike rank 3 is Alara with her bow. So take us through it, Alara.
Yeah, so I would have my bow already, I had already prepared to aim at the Smolodon.
Left or right?
On the left. And yeah, I will level the bow so I'm, carefully aiming.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take a deep breath and just release. Now do it with, am I able to shoot 1, 2, 3?
What do you mean?
Like one after another after another?
No, your first shot will go off on 3, right? And then we'll add 5 strike ranks to what you want to do because you're going to reload. The reload action is 5 strike ranks. And then you need to pay for the cost of using the weapon again, so that's another 3. So you'll go now on 3, and then you'll go on, your second shot will go on 11.
Okay. So I am going to roll, and I'm going to get a 69 out of 55.
Nice.
Nice.
So you fire the arrow at the left one, and you see it sail just over the beast by about, a foot or 2, which means you need to probably adjust your aim a little bit. And that's okay. So that was strike rank 3, and so now we're going to get to strike rank 4, and that means the hills are alive with the sound of thunderbolts. So, Jake, for Varghast's casting, what's the systematic for your calling of what was it? The Majesty?
Yes, His Majesty.
Okay, so what's the spell description for our listening audience?
Okay. It is a bolt of divine energy from the storm clouds and directs it to a specific target. It doesn't need to overcome the target's POW, and it does 3d6 points of damage directly to a total hit points. Neither armor nor spells that protect against physical damage are effective against the spell.
Right, so you have to POW versus... You have to roll POW versus it. So go ahead and roll. Roll your POW.
With it POW plus times 5?
Yeah, it's your POW times 5.
So that's 60 under 70.
Okay. So you're going to succeed. And so now you'll roll 3d6.
Not bad. 13 points of damage.
Okay, so we must identify where.
Left arm.
Not a left arm.
It's that arm again.
It's that arm again. And that was the creature on the right, yes?
Yes.
So same arm that got ignited. It doesn't actually do any damage, but the ignite didn't do any damage, but it definitely redirected its thought train. This is different. So it doesn't get any armor, yes? That's what the spell reads?
Yes, no armor.
Okay. So it does not get any armor. It overcomes all of the hit points within that limb, right? And so you had 13, which means there's 7 remaining. And so that 7 is going to transfer to, I believe it transfers to the next location, which will be basically its chest. And that is I assume it's going to go inward, so that would be the hindquarter. It doesn't have any armor it can utilize versus the spell there, so it's going to take almost all of that as well. What you all see is shocking. The heavens, the sky opens, and a peal of thunder echoes throughout this space, really throughout the Vale. And a jagged bolt of lightning is directed down from the sky through the trees. It evaporates the snow on the trees, causing an immediate rain in the localized area, and connects with this creature. And you hear it howl in pain and lie still for a moment afterwards. It illuminates the entire combat field. And while Mrs. Sabercat is not dead, she is certainly severely wounded now. Okay, so that was strike rank 4 and a really powerful rune magic. On strike rank 5, we're going to see some movement from our Sabercats. So Mr. Sabercat is going to turn and begin moving towards our Haraborn at a high rate of speed. So this is sort of daunting a little bit, Lysana, because even though Vargas is in front of you, you can see an enormous saber cat's head, its eyes red and wild, its mouth coated in blood, now desperate to deal with you. You look like a tasty bit.
Oh, besides that.
Right, it's hungry.
And I am a snack.
We've heard that. We've heard that about you. That's 5. It's going to take its entire movement. It will not be able to attack this round, but it is going to get into what is in effect melee range for both Alara and Vargast. So that is something you will have to deal with next round, unless, of course, there's something that happens to the creature. So that's 5. We have 6, which passes. The other Sabercat, the one that was just electrified, it uses its action to move away, to limp away. That's what it will be doing. It hasn't left the field of combat totally, but it is disengaging after that. And on 7, Finn, you have another rock, another smooth stone in that sling now, and you have an oncoming animal.
Well, I say I'm gonna snap it right between the eyes. All the children sing.
I like that idea. You should try to do that.
21 under 25.
Okay, so it is actually going to get a chance to now actively dodge because it is aware of you, but not with an 85. So you may go right ahead and roll location.
That's a Beethoven. Yeah, it's right in the abdomen. It's the abdomen there. In the soft meats.
All right, so roll me damage. It's D8.
I rolled a 4, sir.
Okay. So it gets armor from that hit because it's not a rune magic spell. It's not a massive bolt of lightning. It's simply a rock, but you do get a good thunk out of its abdomen. You don't know, frankly, whether or not the hit actually translates to it mentally. It just still keeps coming, but you do damage to it. All right, that is 7, 8. We'll go all the way up to 11, and that will be Alara. Alara, it is coming right for you.
Can I take my action to pull an arrow from my quiver and shoot it? Can I do both?
You've already done that. You've spent the 5 strike ranks it would cost you to reload the bow.
To reload. Got it. Yep,
and you are now ready to fire.
All right. I am ready to fire. But can I use my rune from my air rune? Because obvious reasons. It would really help me, guide my arrow to the saber cat.
Yes, Black Shovel, you've never failed me. So please go ahead and roll your air rune.
Ooh, I got a 15 out of 55.
Oh, I like that. It's
I
much
do.
better than the psychic turmoil that you've gone through previously when trying to do other runic inspirations. So
Yes.
it is a standard success, which on runic inspiration is going to give you a 20%.
Mhm.
So
So it'll
you
put me
get
at 75. And so I will roll for my composite bow. It doesn't freaking matter anyways, because I got an 81 out of 75.
Aw.
I know.
Second arrow goes wide, and you really felt like the wind was on your side. Maybe Varghast's call lightning has messed up the air. That's what it's got to be.
It's got to be. I would
It's
never
all
miss.
my fault.
It is.
Somebody's got to be blamed. Okay, so we're going to reach strike rank 12, which means we're going to flip over into a new round. So what I'll ask for before we do that is sort of what we call bookkeeping, which is make sure that you track where your hit points are, make sure you track where your potential arrows are, etc., the stones that you have, Finn, and then we'll go right back around to statements of intent, starting with Lysana. So now there's a big old pussycat, and not the nice kind, in front of Varghast and Alara. And you are not terribly far behind them at this point. Maybe mere 5-7 feet. This thing is here, and it seems to be reaching a clawed paw up to take a swipe. What's your play?
I am going to call forth or call out for assistance of a sort, as I would can I get around this thing?
Can you get around it to what end?
To basically head to the doe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You totally tell this thing to go take a hike and...
So while Varghast and Alara keep its attention, I can. So, yeah, I will scream something out as I run towards the doe. Okay.
So all of you unencumbered are movement rate 8. Make that note.
Thank you.
That said, you could easily reach the doe by moving this round.
Okay. That's my goal.
So for every 3 meters moved, it's +1. Actually, you probably... Yeah, you move pretty close. That seems reasonable. If you're going to expend your entire movement moving, you'll get there.
Yes.
You won't be able to do anything this round other than move, but you'll get there. Okay, fair enough. That's your intent. Alara, what is your intent?
My intent is to take off anything that is, tight on me, clothes, because I feel like that I'm being constricted by, all this winter wear. So I will just rip it off
Hot damn.
to feel more comfortable in,
Sure.
in being able to take action. And then I would probably shoot again, because anything I have has like a ring, like blast earth and shake earth that could potentially hurt the doe. So
That's true.
I do not want to do that. So I will shoot again.
All right, that's going to be your intent this round. So as just like last round, your actions would take place on strike rank 3 and strike rank 11. Varghast, what's your statement of intent for this round?
I am going to engage the Smilodon right in front of us with my spear.
Okay, so what is your strike rank for that spear?
0.
Right.
And then I have a size strength rank of 1 and a dex strength rank of 2.
So you'll go on 3 then. And then Finn, what's your statement of intent?
Well, Varghast is currently wrestling the smiley cat in front of me. And Alara is quickly shucking off all of her articles of clothing to get really just down deep into this combat. So Finn, again, feels like he's going to be in the way for this part, so he's going to skirt around the edge and join them by the doe and assume a defensive stance between them and Lysana, and the doe.
Okay. So you're heading over towards the wounded animal.
Yes.
All right, so that's what you'll be doing for this round. Okay. So Lysana is moving, Finn is moving, and that means that it's going to go effectively Varghast on 4? 3?
3.
3. Okay, so strike rank 3 is all yours, and that is an attack roll for you.
All right, let's see what I get. Hey, 13 under 40.
It is going to attempt to dodge your attack. It does not want to be stuck, much like a suckling pig. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see here. Yep, that's a fumble. Okay. So, all right. So I have to treat its fumble first and see what it would do. So your attack is a successful attack versus a fumble now. And so that has sort of special... it's a standard attack versus a fumble dodge. So attacker... Jake, I'm going to have you roll 1d100, please. You are the attacker. You will help determine what happens on the fumble.
70.
On a 70, so you are going to... so go ahead and roll hit location for me.
That right arm.
Okay. So you come in with the right arm with the spear, and you stab true. Blood sprays all over the place. So its vision is impaired. It loses 50% effectiveness on attacks and parries. Ooh. And it takes a d6 rounds, which I'll roll now. It's going to take 3 rounds for its vision to clear. That is likely a death sentence.
Well, let's hope so.
So it's going to lose
damage.
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
5.
Okay. All right, you stick it fairly well. It howls in pain, and then is going to, on strike rank 5, it is going to swipe at you.
A dodge.
It's reasonable.
Did it hit?
No, it did not.
Okay. I won't worry about dodging then.
Yeah, so the 50% effectiveness.
Yeah.
Vision impairs lose 50% effectiveness on attacks.
Yeah, that would kill me.
Out of character, I'll just let you know that its bite and claw. So it clawed at you with a 60% normal skill, which is now 10%. So fumbles and criticals in combat are deadly.
Yikes.
Okay. So while this is happening, our Lysana and Finn are closing the distance to the doe. And we're going to go all the way up to strike rank 11 now for Alara's next action.
Yep, now that I'm feeling fancy free and a little chilled, I will, or I would have already taken aim in the strike ranks between when I didn't get to go the first time in my claim of or my intent. And so I will take a deep breath again, close my eyes for a second, give a quick prayer to Marangor to give me the strength and help me strike true and release. And she's not listening today because I got a 64 out of 55. Trading out my dice.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. It could be that you're startled by the sheer onset of such a powerful creature so quickly. It looks like Varghast has a good first strike in it, but that second arrow you fire goes wide. Okay. At the end of the round on strike rank 12, Finn and Lysana will reach the doe. So as far as combat goes, there's not much you can do, but you can declare your intent as to what you're going to attempt to do for this wounded animal.
Anyway, I will go to the doe to assess it for health needs, damage, see what condition it's in. And then if it is bleeding, I will at least try to staunch the bleeding while I determine the best course of action.
Sure.
So we'll go with that for now.
Okay. So that's your intent for the next round is to try to assess the does where it's bit, how bad it is. Alara, what about you? What's your statement intent for this round?
Probably miss again. But I will.
You could use a different weapon potentially, or unless the bow is what you're feeling.
How close is the saber cat now?
It's effectively in melee range for the both of you.
Oh, okay. I will pull out my one-handed axe.
Okay. So you drop the bow there in the snowy ground, and you procure your axe. That axe appears to go on strike rank 4.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I will plant my feet. Instead of being close together, I'll plant them so I'm bracing for impact as the saber cat is running this way still. And so I can effectively swing at it when it comes upon me.
Yeah, I mean it is here, so it's engaged in melee right now with Vargast, but good to know that you have your axe, and that's the plan moving forward. So Vargast, what's your plan? Continue with the spear?
Continue with the spear.
Okay. And then Finn, with your fellow Haraborn Lysana here helping figure out how bad the situation is with the doe, what do you think that you're going to do?
Well, Finn has never been much of a healer. He has no way with staunching of the wounds and what. Mostly just the length of it is him pulling a hook out of his own hand on accident once or twice. But he does know how to trick a person, and in this case, a big, scary thing. Are there any branches around on the ground nearby that he can grab? It doesn't have to be particularly large. He just wants to grab one and use rune magic, illusionary sight, and illusionary substance. And the tree branch is engulfed in a extremely bright ball of fire, which he is now waving back and forth at the Smilodon.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like the other Smilodon that was here has basically limped off.
Oh yes, no. This is he's basically making a wide protective area between the Smilodon and Vargast and the doe, and sealing that in with the apparent fire.
Okay.
Because I don't think any of us have any actual fire.
I mean, Lysana can make fire if necessary on combustible materials. You're essentially putting on a light show.
Yeah.
In the background. So this is great for you, Vargas, because it seems that the accompaniment, all of the fireworks are now going off behind you in the deep throes of battle. You're getting a light show, which is pretty great.
Covered in glory as it should be.
Right. Okay. So that's strike rank 4 is that for both of you now on strike rank 4 for Vargast and Alara?
Yes.
I'm on 3.
You're on 3.
Oh,
Okay, so
I'm on 4.
On 3, go ahead with your attack.
1640.
Okay. You're going to connect because when it tries to dodge, it has a problem.
Right leg.
Okay. Damage?
3.
Okay. Most of that is going to get soaked up by the armor, but if you hit that location again, it'll definitely be hurting for sure. All right. So strike rank 4 comes around, and that's Alara.
Yep. I will take a mighty swing at the saber cat and release that breath I'd been holding in a scream, which I will not demonstrate on the recording. And that's just not going to work for me.
What'd you roll?
I got a 50 out of 40.
Okay.
So
I'm going to spend
myself.
a hand of fate for you, and I'm going to make that a success.
Thanks, Patreon.
So whether it's the hand of your chosen goddess, Marangor, or whether it is the burning desire within you to defend the veil, you connect with this nasty predator. Oh, ouch. Okay, so I would like you to roll me a D100 because it has fumbled again in its dodge roll.
I got a 30.
Okay, you have a 30 on its dodge fumble chart. So 30, it is. It's going to lose a D3 attacks and parries. So let's see here. We'll see if it even gets to act on 5. It does not. So I would like you to roll hit location if you can. If you don't have a hit location die, then let me know and I'll roll it.
So it would be the right leg.
Okay. So there's no armor on that right leg thanks to your buddy Vargast. So go ahead and roll damage with your axe.
All right. So it's 1d6 plus 1. I did a damage of 2.
Okay. You cut into it. Very good. It would normally go on 5. Because it is blinded and stumbling now, it does not get to attack. And so what it is going to do is flee or attempt to flee on its action. The ferocity has gone out of this beast and it essentially turns to run. I'll just ask if Vargast or Alara are choosing to be bloodthirsty and hunt this thing down.
No, I'll let it go.
That'd be a nice cape. Vargas walking around in a Smilodon cape. What's going on?
The ladies would love it. I will turn my attention to the doe and run over to Lysana and Finn.
Okay, we're out of combat rounds.
I would like to, once I kind of have taken a look at the doe, if the doe is hurt at all.
It is.
I would like to be able to try and first aid. And I would absolutely love to invoke all of my earth rune healing power.
Okay. Hey, you want to roll your earth rune? Go ahead.
So, as I have been basically marked for the occasion on the forehead by, runic inspiration here.
Yep.
So my first aid's at a 45. That is a 36 on the die.
Okay, so we're rolling against your earth rune. So what's your earth rune?
My earth rune specifically is 65. So that is a 36 under 65.
Yep, standard success. So add 20 to your first aid roll.
So that will bring my first aid again to 65. And that is a 63 under 65.
Okay. Just under the wire.
Just enough.
So you get a wealth of knowledge from looking over this doe. It has been bit on the hindquarters. It is bleeding. It is really in a bad state. But that said, it is something that you can assist with. So over the next few moments, as the combat slows down, as the heat of everyone's blood continues to stay high, the group coalesces a little bit. And you have the ability to roll a d3 and heal that many hit points worth of damage.
That's
Okay. That's the first aid roll?
I will use my healer's kit
Sure.
if that would help at all.
I mean, you're utilizing it. You're utilizing it as you go. That's part of the reason why you get to make the roll.
Yeah.
A couple things become evident to you. One, and probably most importantly, is the doe will live, but it cannot move on its own. It will have to be carried.
Okay.
And then the immediate thing that you're thinking is, where will you take it?
What do we take it back to Royals Grove?
As a first instinct, it's probably a pretty good one, Alara. But it's going to take some time to get to the Royals Grove. Even if you are in the general area, the biggest difference is the elevation. You're going to have to carry her up Crag Radius to get there. You have some experience mountaineering recently, although in far better weather, which you're suddenly realizing that you're perhaps a little cold.
Yeah, I will put on just enough to cover myself from the harsh wind, but I will use my cloak that I was wearing and, grab some long sticks that are fallen from storms or whatnot, and start doing a makeshift carrier for the dough.
Mm-hmm.
I look around. Oh, I realize that I don't have any rope, though. Does anybody... I look at Finn and Vargas. Do either of you guys have rope? Guys, do either of you have rope?
Here. He hands off a spool of his line, fishing line, ubiquitous and always upon him. It'll hold it together for now.
Yeah, I'll use that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make you roll. There are some things that you all four would have a fairly good idea of how to do. Right? A couple of sturdy branches, a cloak, some rope would be enough to make a litter of sort to carry this thing back with, or carry it up for that matter. It will take a couple of you to carry it up to Gragradius. It is not a job for one person. It may take 3 or 4 of you, depending upon how you work it.
Well, I think we can figure out how to do that without a problem.
Yeah, I will go to the front of the stretcher and the makeshift stretcher and pick it up to walk forward with.
You walk forward with it. I'm not going to ask for any climb rolls. It's not at this point about the rolls themselves. Really, what it comes down to is the group spends the next 4 hours climbing Cragradius. It is an arduous task in the deep snow.
Would it be possible to, while we're doing this, to be offering prayers to Arnalda to help guide us through the landscape in the smoothest, gentlest parts of the paths that we would have to follow to try to ease at least a little bit of the arduousness of the journey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
May Orlanth blow his winds to speed our journey, or may Arnalda smooth the path ahead of us so that we may forge ahead with all speed to try. May the path be smooth and gentle for this doe as we move forward.
Yeah.
So I will try to almost physically feel the frozen dried blood on my forehead and use that feeling as kind of a focal point for the prayers. So it's like that physical feeling, that representation, like kind of focusing all of my, the inner prayers and energy towards that to try to bring about whatever I can as we move.
Yeah, certainly. It's inspiring to feel, even in the cold and this relatively frozen season, this dark season, to know that Mother is here even yet as she slumbers. She is still here. The climb up the mountainside is it's a series of acts of strength, both personal will and then physical exertion. In the 4-hour climb, the four of you are taxed greatly, and you reach the Royals' Grove, though very carefully being held in this cobbled together litter, and you approach the grove. You've been here probably once or twice to offer a energy to invoke something. It's likely both Alara and Lysana were here at the behest of their mothers and perhaps of Morganath at some point in their young lives. It's likely too that Finn and Vargas were here to be shown the Royals' Grove and what it is, but this mysteriousness still pervades the place. And in the snow-covered boughs and trees that are here, it's daunting to stand here. I mean, there is a tree that exists in this grove, which is bigger than a barn. Its branches you cannot fully encompass in your vision. And there behind it, almost as if he's been waiting for you, a majestic creature approaches.
I will step forward, and indicating for everybody to just take a second. And I will step forward, my hands down at my side, but palms facing him, so that he sees the tattoos and the earthen symbols. And I'll step forward.
The royal is undoubtedly and undaunted as he approaches you. This is his grove. You can feel that pervade the space.
I will show indications of honor and reverence to him and stop.
He continues, not past you per se, but he continues to see the group and the doe. And he leans down a massive 12 branch of antlers and he sniffs at the doe. He has a mane of milk white hair. His antlers are bleached bone, and they almost shimmer in the air. And when he tilts his head up, this stag looks out at the group, and you hear him say, in perfect Haraborn, in your family tongues, he says, "You have saved a life today, my friends. The life of my beloved daughter. Come to me, and when you have a need of me, I will help, for I owe you a debt." He sniffs around the air, just in the circle here. You hear him almost perusing each one of you, just for a moment. He sniffs at you, Vargast, and you hear him say, in storm speech, "I know your father. Give him my wishes."
As you wish.
Finn, you get licked, like out of nowhere.
Finn can't help but not suppress a laugh. Almost a childlike giggle.
Lysana, the royal's head turns to you, and it cleans the mark off of your forehead.
I take that internally as we have completed what we were set forth to do, and allow that to happen.
You feel the breath on you, Alara. This stag is powerful and has a heat all of its own.
I feel my belly begin to warm, and if he's close enough and if he allows, I would run my hand over his side.
He allows. His fur is dense. It's not just thick, it's really dense. And you get this vision that approaches you. Just this imagery in your head of this enormous stag leaping from rock to rock as it climbs up and down Crag Radius. It feels like an amazing feat. For you, this imagery of the scene here bleeds away a little bit, Finn, and you feel the rest of your companions sort of blur into the background. And you feel a message, a deep, thankful message from this doe that lays on the litter, which is now looking up at its father. It's as if it speaks to you and says thank you.
Finn just nods and keeps his head tilted away from the rest of his comrades so that they can't see his face, and he just smiles and kind of gently pets it. And then, straightens himself and gets back to the group.
When all of the blood is gone from your forehead, you get this surged feeling, Lysana, that an image in your mind of yourself and there is something now adorning your head. You get this after image of a great rack of antlers that project out of your head. And they give you this almost majestic fury. And you can feel the strength of the royal here and how it permeates the ground and how he walks with Ernalda in each step and really how he walks with all of you as members of the Haraborn clan.
Probably be standing up just a little bit straighter, head up, and just allow myself to feel that power kind of coming through the earth into all throughout my body, up through these antlers, just tip to toe, and just kind of feel like I'm, as close to being one with the ground, with the earth as I can in that moment.
For you in finality, Alara, you see and feel your room, your space in the riddle. You feel the drums, the beat, the beating and powerful heart of Marangor. You feel it surge up through the rocks, and there in the shadows of your space, you see the skull of a deer mounted to a pole. But the wells where its eyes would exist are not empty. They are full of fire and magma. And you know now in your heart that this Wyter, this amazing stag, is connected to Marangor as well. And if you create an effigy such as this, it can lay the courage of your enemies on the floor, shattered and broken.
I'm probably have goosebumps and I'm trembling because I'm really excited about the prospect of my enemy's courage on the floor, especially the dirty lunars. The whole aesthetic in the riddle and where I worship Marangor, it's kind of hot. Literally and figuratively.
I agree. So, in-game, as far as systematic knowledges go, I have allowed through the Royal for you to learn a community rune spell. You've all been gifted a community rune spell as taught by the stag. And so I will just give you that information here and now so that everybody knows where it's at. So for Lysana, you have been gifted with the 1-point rune spell, which is touch and not stackable. And it is called the Stag's Crown. I'll get you the full information on it later. But the fantastic part of it is that you grow a 12-point antler rack out of your head. And it does 2d6 plus your damage bonus. And you gain a headbutt attack, which is fantastic. So for you, Alara, you gain the 3-point community spell, which you can cast, of Break the Wolf. So it takes a day to cast. It enchants a totem, usually a ghost deer mounted to a pole. But any invader on clan lands who comes to within the range of the totem, that's 160 meters, is automatically hit by a demoralize spell. Nice. For you, Varghast, you get the Stag's Leap. So that allows you to leap into the air and fly in a great arc anywhere within Haraborn clan lands. Can't be used to leap out, but you can land anywhere within the Tula that you have been before. So you could effectively leap from the ring to the grove, like through the air. It's directed. You could do it to any stead you've been to before or any spot you've been to before. You just can't leap out of the clan lands. That's a 1-point spell. I'll get you the details later. And then finally, Finn, you get the Deer Brother spell. So this spell allows the user to mind link with the nearest deer. You can see through the animal's eyes, and you can hear through its ears, and you can cast spells through the animal.
Dope.
That is a 2-point spell. It lasts an hour. Its range is 5 kilometers. We'll get the details after all this, but that is going to wrap up this episode of 6 Seasons in Sartar, as our Haraborn will return back to their respective steads, or perhaps they won't, depending on what their plans are. We'll let them explain that next episode. But I want to thank you for joining us, and hopefully you've enjoyed this special little tale, and we look forward to what happens as 6 Seasons in Sartar reaches its climax. Thank you, and good night.